settings. And technology is just a
Yeah.
wonderful thing. Project settings. Public. Bob, what time do we need to have him rolling?
We need to get rolling about 9.
Okay, we'll do it. Reception.
Kevin's headed to the back door.
Oh, how funny. No, he's not coming in the back door. Okay.
This is when I start yelling, Claudia.
All right, you ready? All right, let's yeah, let him in. Yeah. He went to the back door. Who goes to the back door?
Joanne's in the front.
Yep, waiting on him. All right, let's roll, Barry. WB Morning Circus, Will Payne.
Barry Diamond.
And please make welcome
Rodney
Crowell.
Crowell. Yeah.
Well, morning, and
Well, that's a warm reception. Okay.
thank you very much for.
I must be in the right
joining.
place.
Yes, you made it. Well, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you,
Thank you.
being in studio, and I'm super excited about the new project, Rodney Crowell in Texas.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Houston, Texas is your home. I mean, it was where you came from,
That's where I was born, yeah.
and you've had an incredible career. And now putting this record together, we looking at it's a who's who that's joining you on this as well.
Isn't that something? Yeah. It's how rare it would be that so many different busy artists would be available to help me out on this record. But it just all seemed to fall in place. Starting with Ringo Starr, of all people.
Wow.
You know, that was the first track we recorded. And that was just happened to be because we had a mutual friend who was trying to get us together to do something. So that came together, and then Steve Earle and I had been talking for years and years and years about recording a song I wrote way back in the 70s called Brown and Root, you know, in reference to my, you know, summer jobs down in Houston working for Brown and Root.
Wow.
With a shovel in my hand.
Shovel.
I have shoveled. You know, I've dug ditches, dug deep ditches.
Somebody ever says, nope, already been there.
Yeah, and I had a song that, you know, actually I was up here in Oklahoma on tour back in the 70s with Emmy Lou, and there's this roadie we had was from Linden, Texas, and there's a Caddo Lake is down there. I don't know if you know about it. And we had a day off, so we drove down, I think, from Oklahoma City.
Wow.
We went fishing Caddo Lake, but it's right there. There's a little town called Uncertain. I don't know if you know this. There's an Uncertain, Texas, and when I hit that, I said, that's a song.
That is.
I mean, you know, you can't make that up.
Wow.
So I wrote that, and there's a little refrain at the end of it, so I had to get Willie Nelson to do this refrain. Merle Haggard could have done it, but Merle was gone by then. And it just so happened Willie was in Nashville when I was working on it. So all of these things lined up. You know, Ronnie Dunn, he was, you know, he just happened to be in town, and I bumped into him, and I said, I'm working on something. Why don't you come by the studio? Leanne Womack, same thing. The record had its own life going from the beginning, and I just, you know, followed it.
Right.
And so in the end, the way it became titled Texas, I did a track with Billy Gibbons, you know, a Houston boy, ZZ Top.
ZZ Top, yeah.
And I said, you know, Billy, all these songs are really Texas-centric. And he said, hey, well, there's your title, Texas.
There it is.
And I said, okay. So I worked with that for a minute, and I said, oh, no. And then it just hit me. I think I'll just call it Texas. And I don't know that there's ever been an album just called Texas.
Wow.
You would think there has been.
Somebody.
Yeah, but I don't know about it.
Yeah.
And
We now do.
It's appropriate when you start looking at the who's who. You got Lyle Lovett on this record.
Yeah.
You know, you've got
Vince
Leanne
Gill.
Womack.
Vince
on it.
Gill's
some little guy by the name of Randy Rogers.
Yeah, Randy, the mayor of New Braunfels. Yeah, we made a video, Randy and I did, of Flatland Hillbillies, and I said, hey, where do you want to meet up? We'll do this video. And he said, man, come to New Braunfels. I got this place wired. I said, well, okay. You know, I said, man, we need some skateboarders for this video. And he said, just a second. He picks up the phone, and a couple of skateboarders appear. I said, okay, you're the mayor of this town, you know.
He knows about it.
All right, we've got Rodney Crowell. We've got his new album, actually a 33 in hand. This thing's coming out in August?
August 15th.
Wow, what a preview this morning, Barry.
Yes, that's right around the corner.
Stick around. Rodney Crowell here on the WB
Morning Circus.
You guys got, y'all are a duo.
Amen.
19 years?
19 years this year.
So you know how to finish each other's sentences.
Almost.
We try. We try.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
WB Morning Circus, Will Payne.
Barry Diamond and Rodney Crowell.
All right, guys, help me out here, all right? And Rodney Crowell.
There we go.
We have an in-studio audience, and they need to take advantage of themselves. Have a good time. Well, thank you for getting up early and being with us this morning. We greatly appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
It's Rodney Crowell. We're talking about his brand new project named Texas. Obviously, going to be a single that we're going to be promoting really, really soon off of this record, correct?
Right.
And Bob, what's that going to be?
Flatland Hillbilly.
All right, so that's the one that's going for ads now?
Right.
Okay, all right, good deal. All right, well, I'll tell you this. You'll leave with one today, for sure. You're guaranteed to have Rodney Crowell ad
Good man.
from Payne Media Group, okay?
Awesome.
If you're willing to come visit us, we will do about anything for you
Okay.
that we can. So thank you very much.
Well, you want me to cook some breakfast around here or something?
No,
I can clean up the place really if you need it.
you've had an opportunity to work with some amazing songwriters over the year, and you are in your own right
a great
Hall of Fame
songwriter.
songwriter. And what is the key that you see to longevity? Because you've had career hits year and decade after decade after decade.
Well, you know, a few years ago, around 1998, I started writing a book. Now, I tried to figure out how to write this book, a memoir, called Chinaberry Sidewalks. It took me 10 years to write it. And it was so hard to figure out how to write it. Every once in a while, I'd just get frustrated and reach over and pick up a guitar. And I know how to write songs. I didn't know how to write a book. I eventually figured it out. But I'd pick up the guitar, and I wrote a lot of songs while I was trying to write a book.
Right.
And the process of that kind of work, going back to work day in and day out, I do it. If I'm not on the road performing, Claudia, my wife, is here, she'll tell you, I'm up in the morning and I go back in my studio and I'm working on songs. That's what I do. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know anything else to do. I mean, I really could clean up around here. It doesn't need it, but, you know, I used to wash dishes a long time ago.
Right,
You know?
right,
That was
right.
my last job.
Right. But writing.
But I've made a living since my early 20s writing songs. I've been a professional songwriter for a long time.
Wow. That's awesome. Wrote some great hits over the years.
All right, we got to talk about this brand new album. It's called Texas. You've got, a little bit of everything. Steve Earle's on this record. You've got Lyle Lovett. You've got Ringo Starr, Willie Nelson, Leanne Womack, Billy Gibbons, Vince Gill, and Randy Rogers. How did you pick each one of these? Or did they pick themselves? How did they come before you and say, you know what, these are the folks that we're going to be working with, and these are the folks that are going to be on the album?
Well, this Lyle Lovett, for instance, that was actually the first song I recorded. I had that in the can. In the can, I mean, I'd recorded it even before I started. And that's a particular song that I wrote that was the conversation between two guys. One guy whose life has fallen apart and another guy who's pretty together. Now, Lyle Lovett is about the most together guy I know. You know, so I got to call him, you know, he's a friend of mine. I said, hey, man, I got a role for you in this song. And God bless him, he went out of his way to come through Nashville and record the song with me. And it worked that way. I guess, you know, people were willing to go out of their way a little bit. But now, for instance, Vince Gill, his part on it, the song Caw Caw Blues is the last song that I wrote with Guy Clark before he passed away a couple of years ago. Vince was really close with Guy as well. So, you know, I said, hey, Vince, I got the last song that Guy and I wrote, and it's a country blues shuffle, and we need to go at it like Don and Phil Everly, because Vince and I have sang together since 1976, and we always imagined ourselves kind of like Don and Phil,
Right.
or Buck and Don Rich, you know. And Vince would get up there and has that tenor voice so beautiful. And I knew that he needed to be the one on there. I knew Willie Nelson needed to take the refrain on Deep in the Heart of Uncertain Texas, because it had to be somebody with that kind of gravitas, that recognizable. And Randy Rogers, I reached out to him because I wanted somebody that was youthful and enthused, and
Right.
Randy fit he came in and he did exactly what we wanted to do. It's just fun to make records,
Yeah.
It really is. And sometimes, like this one, they just fall together. Things happen that you don't expect to happen.
Right.
Leanne Womack just happened to be in the studio to talk about something else, and that she was working on with Ray Kennedy, who was co-producing with me, and I said, "Oh well, can you stick around and put a little harmony on this song?" I said, "I can do it."
Wow.
Yeah, well, I live in Nashville, so there's a lot of talented people around.
Just a little
You
bit.
see them at the service station, Hey,
Parking cars, hey, what's going on? I had a little side job going on.
yeah,
I'm waiting to get an Uber someday, and I remember you.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that might be me someday.
Oh, this is amazing. We got Rodney Crowell in studio. We've got a new record called Texas coming out August 15th, Barry.
Yeah,
Looking
I
forward to
know.
that. More with Rodney coming up here on the Kid 5.5 WB.
Morning Circus. All right, we'll do one more.
And who would you be, sir?
I'm Kevin Corey.
This is my local
Longtime
insurance
fan.
agent.
How you
Longtime
doing?
fan.
How you
sir?
doing? Nice to
My
see you.
pleasure
My
to
pleasure.
be sitting here next to you.
You had to go around back.
That's okay.
So all of my vehicles are insured with this man,
Mhm.
and so he's also a great advertiser and advocate for country music, and so he comes by and spot checks me all the time to make sure that my mileage is right, my tires are inflated, and I am driving the vehicle I said I was driving, so-
Right.
And you're holding good company.
and holding good company and making sure that I don't have any
Right.
rascals in my vehicle that I shouldn't.
That's right.
Yeah.
Make sure the haze isn't driving you.
Yes,
That's-
my 9-year-old is my normal driver, and so I get in trouble for that.
I got it. I'll see.
Just a little bit. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hey, WB Morning Circus, Will Payne
Barry Diamond.
and Rodney
Crowell.
All right. Okay. Third time's a charm.
You mentioned something earlier, and I cannot wait for this to happen. You're going to be playing the Cain's Ballroom up in Tulsa
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. Last week in August, which I'm excited about, because the last time I played Cain's Ballroom was in the '70s with Emmylou and the Harris and the Hot Band, and when we played then, it's like I said, this is Cain's Ballroom. Some of the musicians said, "You don't get what this,"
Right.
Bob Wills, this is the place. So yeah, we're coming back, and I've been harping on my booking agent for a long time. Why don't you book me at Cain's Ballroom? At least I can tell my friends I'm playing Cain's Ballroom.
You're right. It's
And that'll come
it's
out right after
legendary.
the CD comes out. Right after
Perfect
the album
timing.
comes out. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of these guys plays at the Cain's. Steve
Yeah.
Earle still plays at the Cain's. Randy Rogers just sold out the Cain's.
Right.
Leanne Womack would sound wonderful at the Cain's.
She would.
They've got the original stage. Do you remember the last time you played Cain's? How long has that
Well,
been?
not long ago, I did they were inducting Chris Christopherson. There was it was honoring Chris Christopherson, and I came and performed that night on the stage. The stage is higher and bigger than what I remember. It seemed like back in the '70s when we played there, it was a bona fide dance hall.
Yes.
And now it seems like it's more of a theatrical venue, which is, I don't care. It's still Cain's Ballroom.
All right. If you look underneath on the back side, there's a big hole cut out, and you can see the original stage that they built over. So it's still there. It's just up off the ground another 2 feet.
Oh, okay.
So you
All
can
right.
still see it.
Well.
They've done a great job of preserving what that was and what it is as well. So looking forward to that, Bob.
Cool.
We're looking forward to coming up for that one. It'll be
Yeah.
a fun show to visit as well. So
That will be.
appreciate that. Well, thank you for coming in this morning. Can't tell you how much it means to us for you taking a tour, coming across the great state of Texas, up in Oklahoma as well, promote this new record.
Across the
coming out.
Red River, man. Oh boy. Now I'm having. Last time I did that, I was going the other way, in '76 to to go fishing at Caddo Lake and right deep in the heart of uncertain Texas.
Wow, that's awesome.
How cool is that?
That is awesome.
Rodney Crowell joined us this morning here on the WB
Morning Circus.
All right. Thank you.
Awesome.
You may write